Why is it that we sometimes sabotage ourselves from success? That's a question that I have been asking myself. And so this video is really more for me to talk to myself about it. And I hope that it resonates with those of you that clicked on it. But what I mean by this for me is that there's times where I've been interested in a project and I'll get started on it, I'll build momentum, things are going really well. Like I can say objectively that things are going well, and then suddenly I stop. I just stop altogether. I don't finish the thing that I'm working on, and then months later, I start to think about the idea again. But if I had never stopped working on a project, who knows where that project could have been in that time that now I'm having to start over. The example of this is this week I started to make some videos on this channel, and one of them, you might have watched it. It's not like a viral video by any means, but it got like 800 plus views, which is really, really awesome and like really good for a channel of this size. And I didn't have any expectations of anything. So when it started to get some views and some comments and a lot of great people talking to me about it, I was happy about it and I was super excited to keep making videos. And then at the same time, I was facing resistance to it. I was feeling nervous about it. I was putting it off. This is now a couple days later where I'm finally sitting down to film this because I realized I think I'm sabotaging myself because this isn't the first time this has happened. I actually was making some videos on this channel a couple months ago, and the same thing happened where one of the videos got like 1,000 plus views, and I was super excited. And the obvious thing to do is to keep making them, keep showing up for those that have given their time to watch the videos and subscribe and interact. But I got in my own head about it, and I got nervous for reasons that don't even make sense. And I sabotaged myself and I stopped making things. And so now this is like 5, 6 months later from that point where I started to post these videos again this week. And I caught myself doing it again. Because I'm posting this means I broke through it this time. But it made me think about, man, why is it that I sabotage myself? And I think that I'm not alone in this. I think a lot of people build momentum on something, and when something works in a way that, again, I had no expectations for my example of making videos. I'm not attached to the outcome. But what was weird is as soon as people were paying attention, I got nervous. And yet when I didn't care if people were going to pay attention, I was able to freely create. And so it's like when attention creeps in, which can be a good thing for anyone that's putting work out there and trying to share ideas, you want ultimately you would love some people to check it out. It doesn't have to be a lot of people, but it's nice to have people consume your stuff sometimes. And yet when it started to happen, then I got nervous, and then like doubts creeped in, and I was like, is it worth making more things? Like all of this self-doubt. And I think that also what happens is circumstances can change. Like there is a reality where I could continue to post videos and do something with it eventually. All I care really about is sharing ideas and just talking and all of that. But, there's obviously some potential later on to turn this idea into something more if I wanted to. I don't feel the pressure to, but if I wanted to. And ultimately, I just love to stop. I love to stop and sabotage myself from seeing that because that would be different for me. That would be change. I wouldn't be used to that. I don't know what that would look like. And it's really easy to get comfortable in the position that you're at and the things that you're doing. And even though what I want to do is make videos a lot of the times, when I finally started to make some, like it felt different, and so it was very easy to go back to the old routines and the old habits. As I'm saying that out loud, I'm like, that's what it is. It's super easy to go back to, like, there's you before you start on a project, and then there's the you after you start on a project. And sometimes it takes a while for you to start, whether it's like writing a book or starting to make videos or whatever, a thing that you're working on is. That once you finally start something, it's still very easy to go back to the old you where you weren't actually going forward and trying to take action on things. And so that's what I'm up against. And if you're clicked on this video, I assume that you might be up against that as well. I feel like we're kind of our own, worst enemy with it, which is super ironic and weird because, like, why would we do that to ourselves? But it happens. It happens. There's a lot of great people I know that have put out awesome stuff or have shared with me great work that, whether it's paintings or music or stuff like that, that they haven't put out to the world, but they just share with me that they were working on it. And I check in a couple months later and they're like, "Oh yeah, I completely stopped." And I'm like, "What? Like, why would you stop? That was amazing." And they were like, "Oh, I just kind of got in my own head and just kind of put it off." And they sabotage themselves, and I'm super guilty of it. And so my intention by making this video and talking about it is, like, I hope that this just helps push me through. Like, I wanted to talk about it so that I could get over this obstacle of it, because I kind of feel like I broke through a barrier this week where I was like, okay, I'm going to start creating again. I'm going to start making stuff. And I felt really excited about it. And then a couple days later, it's like the old me is creeping back in that put off making anything for days at a time, months at a time, even. And, it's so easy to go back to that place, but I don't want to. I really enjoy creating. And so I am going to hold myself accountable to this. And if you happen to be watching this, I want you to hold yourself accountable, and we can help each other as well. You could tell me, like, hey, I'm working on this project, and this is what I typically fall back into, but this time I'm not going to do it. And I love connecting with other people that are trying to create things. So that's what this video was for. I feel like just talking about it out loud and sharing it publicly, like, kind of holds me accountable to it. So hopefully this was helpful if you catch yourself in this situation sometimes. And thank you so much for being here and for watching. And I'll see you again very soon.